Hello, everybody. I hope you're having an amazing day wherever you are in the world. Um, After going and being a part of the Reverie, it was my very first time being a part of one. A little bit nervous, a little bit excited. It was, 2 a.m. in the morning for me, but I was happy to be there. And there was somebody that was there that I felt a bit of a bond with immediately, and he made me feel very welcome. And it was to do with this. It was to do with the downfall of Kid and how amazing it was. And I thought it would be really great to bring him on for today's stream, and he was kind enough to be able to go and take some time out of his busy schedule to do so. So, ladies and gentlemen, please give a warm welcome to JD Legend. Thank you for being here. I really do appreciate it. It honestly means so much. And I mean, yeah, you're a busy man, but when I said, hey, I want to talk about some One Piece as well as maybe some Kid Slander, you were more than happy to go and jump on. So I really do appreciate it. I tell you what, I think one of the best things to do is to subscribe to JD Legend, because just recently I saw a little YouTube short pop up about the Kid Slander, and that honestly was the highlight of my day. And it's another reason to go and stay subscribed. So please subscribe. Have you always hated Kid the way that you do? Like, how did it manifest? Were you like a Kid fan and it was just, like loss after loss that just really drove you to this point? Like, tell me about your history in terms of your hatred for Kid.
Because if you can hear me, the chat can't.
Okay, let's start that again. Okay, start again. All right, I'm doing well, doing very good. Okay,
You're good.
Love that. All right, let's. All right, here we go. Let's that. All right. Take two.
Can they hear
Okay, yeah, we're all good. Cool. All right, so you are a Kid hater. I'm a Kid hater. We have, for one way or another, just been have really a massive disdain for Kid, and I was just really curious, like, how did this all start for you? Was it just like you were a fan, or were you just hating him from day one? Like, how has that been for you?
I'm what you call a victim of expectation. I liked Kid a lot, actually. Especially going into the post time skip, I really believed that Kid was going to be Luffy's rival. Oda had built it up that way. He had the high bounty, and then you have someone like Trafalgar Law, who's also been closely tied to Luffy and his bounty. These are like the main supernova crews that we've really seen for the most part. That have kind of been the forefront. It's always been Luffy, Kid, and Law, and then obviously Zoro and Killer. He's the only other one with a supernova on his crew. So you think this guy should be very impressive. And magnetism is also a very interesting fruit, especially if you're a big Magneto guy. You're like X-Men.
Oh,
so
yeah.
you're seeing like magnetism, you love the science, you're thinking like this can be very creative. You've seen magnetism used in so many different ways. So you're like, yo, Kid, not only does he have the attitude of a pirate, the nastiness of a pirate, but he's also got a really cool devil fruit, and he's supposed to be strong. So we're all expecting to be, moved by Kid at some point. We're like, yo, man, Kid is great. Like, if you go back to my channel, I had old Kid videos of me gassing him up. Like, it's actually a shock to see now. You see it, like, Kid will surprise you in Wano. Kid versus Big Mom. Like, I'm saying, like, Kid's gonna take down Big Mom 1v1. That's gonna be it. So, like, I had all this hope in the world. I had it all. And then we're in Udon prison, and then Oda showing me that he's competing with Luffy with one arm. So I'm like, wow, look at all this buildup for Kid, right? We go in, and the application of his fruit was just so one-dimensional.
Yeah.
Like, completely one-dimensional. And I thought with a fruit like or fruit power like magnetism, being one-dimensional is the last thing you would expect, right? That's what I was hoping. It seemed like such a waste of a very versatile fruit that all he did was build things and hit things. And I'm like, that can't just be it, right? Like, that's not what I need.
Yeah.
And on top of that, all of the stuff that he was doing, Oda made an impact. He made a point to show you the damage that Law does with all of the characters. Same thing with Zoro. Zoro's cutting people, so you always know he's going to do some damage. When it comes to Kid, all he's doing is just blunt force damage, punching people in the face, they scream a little bit and then they get back up as if kid's not really doing anything. So like I'm literally just watching my mind slowly corrode into hatred at pure disappointment. Cause to me, my heart was broken. You know, because I'm like, yo, kid is supposed to be raw, and all I'm seeing is garbage. And, you know, I think the final straw for me was the bull when he ran the big mom with the bull after that. And I thought, like, so this is all this guy's gonna do.
Yeah.
And by the time the railgun came out, I'd already given up on him. So I was like, fine, like you still didn't even get your W. To be honest, if it wasn't for law, where would we be? Like, there's too many reasons for me to slander kid, and then you didn't get a backstory. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just nothing, right? There was nothing for me to clutch onto. And then when my hatred was at its maximum, Shanks one-shots him. And I'm like, all right, good. Get him out. I don't want to see him anymore, right? At that point, I'm like, yo, it's over. Kid, the story of Kid is dead. It's
put in the bed. Yeah, put in the bed. Yeah, the only bit of a backstory that I saw for Kid was when I went and did that a funeral service for him. And this is like when he this isn't what even before he was one-shotted. As soon as he said, I'm gonna go and fight Shanks, even if he can beat me, I'm like, oh, this man's dead. So I went and did a whole funeral for him. And the backstory that I saw from him was just him as a kid, and there was a girl who would beat him up, and then you know, like threw curry on him or something like that, and then now his least favorite food to this day is curry. So he's still holding on to the losses he's made as a child against like a little girl, and it's just like and that's the big thing too. Like you mentioned, they take an asserted effort to show the what Law can do with his fruit, like, you know, stabbing in the Kaido and like Big Mom and all the amazing feats that he's done. It's incredible. Like what he's done is insane. And then for Kid to come in and start throwing a few fists around and say, oh, you've been, you know, you weakened them first, or like, you know, this finished them off. Or essentially Kid just picks up the scraps, and it's just, it really is hard, I'd say, at this point in time for people to still be Kid fans. Like really, like I put out videos saying how the only way for him to redeem himself is to have like a whole, like a whole character turnaround. Like this man has to be humbled beyond belief, or he has to change his goal, or he has to like go, you know what? Shanks took me down, but like Luffy, he's gonna, so I'm gonna be on his side. Do something, just like change his whole motivation, because right now it's just, if he stays the way that he is, it's just there's no hope for him at all.
No hope at all. And what makes it even worse is like we didn't even see any use of hockey at all. Like, did he use hockey? We could assume he used hockey, but he didn't even fight a Logia. So how do we really know he was actually using it? That's like, to me, it doesn't make sense. It doesn't really make sense. No. Right?
It doesn't.
When Luffy used Ryo, Kid's like, what's that? I'm like, what do you mean, what's that? Like, what? Were you not in Udon the whole time anyway? Like, I just, you know.
How does this man have the same bounty as Luffy and Law? I don't, that is the biggest travesty. That is the biggest travesty. I don't know.
Maybe because he kills people or something. I don't know, man.
Wait, he actually kills people. Like, Kid actually kills people? Yeah. I've yet to see it. I really do. Unless, you might have seen something.
Crucifying people and everything. Oh, yeah, no, there was like, you see him, I think it's before they cut off to the post time skip. I think they're seeing Kid in some random island in the New World, and he's like crucifying people or something. Like it's pretty toxic, actually.
Oh, okay. I was gonna say some random island in the New World. You sure it wasn't like in like the Grand Line or like in East Blue or some places like?
Like he was Kid, so he's done. Yeah, he's actually been marked as a notorious, like he's actually evil. Like the way he carries out his piracy is pretty evil. So I would be surprised if he hasn't killed a bunch of people.
Yeah. But also, I think it's really good and very fitting that someone that toxic gets put down in his place the way that he did. I think it's very good. It honestly warmed my heart. It was great.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Warmed my heart too. I was excited.
But before we go and discuss any further, I just want to really just say thank you to all the viewers that have come over from Jay's channel. It really does. It really means a lot for you guys to take the time. And if any of you guys are new, I do a stream like this every week, and I chat with different content creators. And after the Reverie, I've been trying to reach out different people to chat with because I think it's really cool. And you know, you mentioned yourself, Jay, on the Reverie, like there's all these different people, and you just reach out to them and you chat with them. You're like, oh wow, they're just like me. They're just like One Piece fans, and you can really bond with them. So I really do appreciate that.
Yeah, man. One big happy family.
That's right.
For the most part, but yes.
That's right. So you're a very busy man. Has there been anything that you've been up to that you maybe want to share with us? And I mean, this is the first time we've actually properly had a chat, so I want to get to maybe have an idea of what type of schedule you do, what exactly you've been up to, what are you watching, kind of how your intake of One Piece is. I'd like to go and hear it.
I would say my schedules are pretty erratic because I also have a full-time job that I do as well on top of this.
Yeah, wow.
So it just depends on what's going on, full-time job, my personal life as well. Like my family lives about an hour away, so I visit them from time to time, stuff like church. There's just a lot and I have to juggle around my schedule, so I try to at least when I'm like active and I have time, like I just spew out a ton of streams, content. If anything, I do want to get on a better schedule, just because the bigger you get, the more you need to streamline these things.
Yeah,
because the demand is so high. So it's a good thing and a bad thing, but we're managing it. In terms of how I'm absorbing One Piece, I don't find myself rereading chapters anymore. I just read the chapter like a casual, but I'm like obviously making content around it, and then I'll just put it down. I just don't think about it again. Like I can talk about it because I've been reading the series for almost 20 years now. So like for me, that's fine. Like I don't need to do a deep dive or analyze what happened in the story just because I kind of get it just at a very base level. Enough to talk about it when I want to. But I think after the whole Wano experience, my love and anticipation for One Piece and obsession with it died, and it just became like a casual love, if that makes sense. It's like, yo, I love One Piece. It's not like One Piece. I'm not always thinking about what Oda's doing. I'm not looking at interviews, SBSs. I'm not looking at any of that stuff. And I find it's peaceful because my content is more pure now. It's more about what I want to do and what I want to say. And to have your audience still accept that is making it very comfortable. So I think this is probably something I should have done earlier, if I'm being honest. But obviously, One Piece is the main series I keep up with. I keep up with JJK from week to week. In terms of animes, I've been watching Bleach, Thousand Year Blood War. Yeah. I'm a huge Bleach guy. And they're doing it perfectly, honestly. Really fast paced, but there's that. I need to watch Shibuya in JJK, the anime. I haven't watched that yet, so that needs to be watched. And I do watch Mushoku Tensei now. I know a lot of people can be concerned about that because it can be weird, but it's also very good. So it's just like it's a balancing act with that show.
Okay.
Just if anyone wants to check it out, like, be warned.
Okay. It's very fascinating. Like everything that you said is very, very similar to my situation at the moment. Like I work a full-time job as well. I have family that lives an hour away. Every single one of the series that you've mentioned, except the last one, I've caught up or like I've watched or like been checking out. I'm currently reading through JJK at the moment. I've just read through Shibuya, and on to the next part. Yeah, and I really do appreciate what you do because I've made an added effort, and I've done this with I have a yearly video like an awards that I do where I give out awards to people who may be lower in the community who have done really good videos and everything like that to show appreciation, because I was doing content years ago and I dropped out because of burnout, and it's like I didn't have a full-time job then, so I was trying to put everything I could into this, and it really burnt me out because I was doing the in-depth stuff like theories and deep dives and stuff, and it was really getting into my head. And now working full time, I have more of a relaxed sense of just I can come on here, do what I want, and leave. And so I've learned that lesson of I don't need to do the deep dives because other people can do them. And also with the time I have, I just want to come on here, read the chapter, put it down, have fun, do what I want, and just, be on my way. So I really do appreciate that you're essentially trying to tackle that, but as well as you're at the scale you are at the moment. Like I'm only at 1,000 subs and I'm trying to battle this myself, but you're on a much bigger scale with a lot bigger of an audience. So I really do appreciate that, and I hope that that a lot of the viewers that can sort of see that and you have that appreciation for, because it is a lot that we sacrifice in terms of coming up with trying to appease the viewers that want to take their time to watch us, and trying to make content for them. It really is it's a tough balancing act. It really is.
It is.
Yeah.
It definitely is. There's one thing I learned is if I didn't have the team that I have, it's correct kind of crazy for me to say have a team, but I do. That helps me out a lot from every angle when making thumbnails, editing videos, shorts, all of that. That helped because if I didn't, there's no way I'd be able to do it.
Yeah.
There's just no way. So it's like my full-time job helps me fund that team at the moment. And it's great to have, and it's definitely a great advantage that I acknowledge I have over other people that have to do everything from scratch. But at the same time, it's like if I didn't, I wouldn't be here today. So it's like it makes it more worthwhile because when you grow, it's your team growing. It's not you. Like they're a part of everything on my channel. And I make sure I let them know that as well, man. But that's just one of the beautiful parts about treating this as a side hustle in a sense, but also a passion project. Because it started out a pure passion. Like, all right, I just want to. This is the one place where I feel like I can be myself. Like once I turn the camera on, like I'm not thinking, I'm not overthinking. Like life disappears. It's just me, the camera, and the chat, and we're just having a good time.
Yeah.
Right. So for me, like this was a personal thing. If there was only one person in the chat, I'm having a blast. If there's 200 people in the chat, I'm having a blast. It just doesn't matter. And once you follow the series for so long and you have to overanalyze the series to death just to make content, you forget the passion that you had just for YouTubing and being on screen in general and being with your team. So like if it wasn't for me simplifying everything, like I had to simplify everything. My take, my certain content, stay in a certain bucket. Don't try to copy other YouTubers just because it looks successful. Like build your own way. Like so many of these things I would not have been able to do without somebody helping me, right? And that's really the goal, is to be able to put yourself in a position to have somebody automate the process for you.
Yeah.
So it's been a good journey. It's been a good journey, but it is hard, like you mentioned.
Yeah. How long have you been on this journey for?
I think I'm coming up on the 4th year now. I think it'll be year 4.
Yeah. Okay. Was there a moment that really stood out to you in terms of like you saw like a massive turn of growth, or you started to see things kick off? Like, I mean, or maybe even when you started to have that decision of, let's go and get a team. Let's go and put a team together to help me.
There's been like a couple key moments. I think one of the biggest moments, my favorite moment ever, is my first big video.
Yeah.
Which was my reaction to chapter 957, actually.
Okay.
With Garp, when we first heard about Garp and God Valley, and like I'm a huge Garp guy. And that was my first, I think, 1,000 view reaction.
Yeah.
And that bumped me up. That's when I got to 1K. I was so excited about that. Getting to 10K was really nice, but that was when I was doing like all the YouTube laughs, like the Blackbeard laugh and all that stuff. So then I had got to 10K there. I was very excited about that. Like that was a big deal. I'm like, all right, I'm at a good point. Like I can go somewhere. I think what really changed for me is once the shorts started kicking in, and this was around March.
Yeah. Okay.
At March, I was at like 35K, I think, and I'd gained 2,000 subscribers from March all the way to October. So my channel growth had stopped completely. It was a standstill. And then once my shorts guy came in, we started posting shorts, and I realized that shorts work with my content because it's all reaction.
Yeah.
So my content is very, very clippable. So like once we were able to turn those clips into content, YouTube just rewarded the channel expeditiously, because now tons of my shorts are reaching a lot more people than my reactions have ever reached people, to the point where March we're at 35, now I'm at 71. And I'm like, my dream has always been to have that plaque. Since I started, every time I saw a YouTuber have that silver button, I'm like, yo, I want that button. Like that is what I want, because it is a physical representation of all the hard work and dedication that you've put into. Like you keep that. That's it. And I don't think I've never had anything like that before. I'm not gonna lie to you. Like I've always been worried about what is it that I can build personally that's coming directly from me and not based on some system that I had to do you know what I mean? I wanted it to come naturally to me. Like this is something I know I'm naturally capable of doing, and to be recognized for that with something that I can look at, to me, I think would mean the world to me. It would mean the world. I think it would show that I am capable of doing something and excelling in a way that people can see it every time they're in my house. Like, you're gonna
Yeah.
see this guy did that, right?
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah.
I remember when Brago got his 100K, and I just remember how happy I was for him and how much I knew he deserved it because I knew the work he put in. I knew his popularity. I know how much this community absolutely adores that man. But when he got 100K, I felt like I hit 100K. I was like, yo,
Yeah.
and then you see him opening up the box and you see like the joy in his face. And I'm like, that's the feeling I want. Like, that's why we do this YouTube stuff, is because while it's fun to put content out there, while it's fun to interact with your audience, this is also you giving yourself to a platform.
Yeah.
And for them to give you something back, like, that's it. That's it. That's the biggest goal. So the fact that it's so close, I don't know, man. I don't know how to feel. I'm still, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, like you're getting pretty close now to it, and with how everything's been going with your success on shorts and that subscriber growth, yeah, I mean, I it'll be really cool now to go and see that video or that stream you do when you open that up, because the mark of the subscriber count, it's, you know, it's a recognition of what you're doing is like, it's all the effort you put in has, you know, shown success. Like, it's worked. Like, you put a lot of yourself into your videos, and you try to come up with a plan and a schedule, and you make things work, you make sacrifices, and then to have that recognition with that plaque, yeah, that's gonna be such an emotional release to have that. And yeah, like you said, to constantly see that, it's not just like a one moment. You just have that there that you can just look at, and then you could have it behind you in your stream and just have a constant reminder. And yeah, that's going to be a really cool moment. So it is really neat to see that, you know, you've had such a great growth in the last few months to do with shorts. Shorts have been quite a game changer, I've found. It really has. It's been a game changer for me. I mean, like, like you said, you know, I'm doing a full-time schedule, and so the biggest thing that I personally found was streamlining these streams and cutting them up into shorter clips to like put out on a regular basis, because I was having a trouble where I would want to put at a theory video, you need to take like 2 or 3 weeks to put out one, and to have that much downtime on my channel was really bothering me. And then when you do it, it may not hit, or the topic may be irrelevant because now it's not current anymore. So yeah, to have like the way to go and cut up these streams and have them be regular content is such a big thing. And shorts is another way to do that, but just on a much wider scale, because it's much more widespread. So it is cool that you were able to tap into that and had your team really hone into that, and it's shown great results. That's really, really cool and inspiring to a lot of people like myself who try to do what we can on this platform.
It's funny because the shorts are also, they've kind of changed the landscape of how people consume content. Just because when you have more targeted shorts, one thing I've learned is when you look at, say, TikTok, and then you look at Instagram Reels, the algorithm on YouTube, you can find a lot more weird shorts. Like, I don't know what it is. Like, you just run into some things where I'm like, this is like either really poorly done, or like it doesn't make any sense. It's not funny. So it's still like it's still an untapped market, just because a lot of people watch YouTube for the longer videos. But I think in the anime community, shorts are blowing up like crazy.
Yeah.
Everybody, doesn't matter what size, what channel you are, what your normal views look like on the videos, your shorts are a way to grow your channel. So subscriber growth is very popular at the moment, and it's good because more people are staying on YouTube. And with their membership system and everything that's going on, now's the best time if you really want to go to like bring your channel back to life. If you can tap into the shorts game, like that's a game changer. That's a life changer. You could create a whole formula for your channel that would be translatable into shorts, so the shorts would then advertise your just regular video content. You know, so there's so many things about the YouTube algorithm, the shorts algorithm, YouTube itself with memberships now. Things are changing, right? So now would be the time to hop on, and it's very interesting to see, especially being on the platform for so long.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, yeah, I just did my very first episode reactions to the Gear 5 episodes, and it's just, yeah, seeing those cut up clips it's made a massive difference. It really, really has. So it is definitely a game changer. So you haven't seen the newest episode. Do you have any sort of time that you're planning on watching this episode, or are you just going to try and fit it into your schedule somehow?
I should watch it today. If I'm going to be a responsible YouTuber, I should watch it today. And I think I'm going to, and then I'll maybe watch one episode of the live action.
Yeah.
But yeah, I need to watch it, so I'll give it a chance. I'll give it a shot today.
Okay.
I'll do my best.
Okay.
If I don't,
sure.
I'll just do it Monday morning or something.
Yeah, definitely. I'm definitely keen to go and see what your reactions are to this, because it is definitely fantastic. Speaking of the Netflix live action, you've seen the first episode. What are your thoughts on seeing the first episode of the Netflix live action?
I was very happy, and I was happy because my whole mantra was, if it's a 6 out of 10, it is an absolute success. Like, we have succeeded, because anime live action has been an absolute diabolical, whatever you want, whatever bad superlative you want to use. It's just been a mess. It's been trash. So for us to go from Full Metal Alchemist, Death Note, Dragon Ball Evolution to this, I was like, wow, it's just good. That's the first thing that came to my mind. Oh, the quality is good.
Yeah.
It's not cringe. Wow. Like, and then after I kind of got over the whole, wow, it's actually kind of good, they started off well. Then I was paying attention to the acting and how Inaki played Luffy. And what I liked a lot about it was that it wasn't goofy in an anime sense, but it was goofy in a real world sense. Like, the way he translated Luffy into a real version of Luffy was awesome, because it's like you can tell he's a little scatterbrained, but at the same time he's still put together. It's like he's only focused on one thing at all times, but at the same time he's pretty self-aware. And his facial expressions, like, if you look in the anime, Luffy's facial expressions rarely change for the most part. He's normally at the same, big-eyed facial expression where he's just looking around at what's going on in the world. And Naki does a very good job of having that same facial expression. And I'm like, this kid is cooking. Like, he's really doing a good job with Luffy. And then the humor was funny. And then you go to Zoro, and you're seeing how Zoro's character is more on the edgy side, but you see a slight, it's like that really bad guy that's not a bad guy at all, but he always presents himself as a bad guy, but he's really soft. It's like your textbook, dreamboat for any woman that's watching a soap opera. There's always that one guy where everyone thinks he's an asshole, but he's actually really sweet. And they're like, oh, that's exactly what Zoro is. And I'm like, okay, this is a good version of Zoro. And then obviously Nami, right? Nami is just, Nami, you just got to be her. And I think Emily Rudd encapsulates Nami. Like, so seeing all that come together, I'm like, so I'm enjoying the acting. I'm enjoying the sets. I'm enjoying the cinematographies. I think something that some people haven't talked about. When they show the bounties for these characters, they show the little, what's it called? They put the number right in front of you in a little orange text. And I'm like, I like that. I said, that's nice. Hold on. Like, that's really good. So, like, if you never watched One Piece before, you would look at something like that and be like, oh, that was kind of cool. Like, these bounty things seem pretty serious. You're able to turn them into miniature fans by liking small aspects, where every time you meet a new pirate, you're thinking, I wonder what their bounty is, right? Like, they're doing a good job for people who are just joining One Piece now to enjoy the medium in a condensed pace, because that will create more One Piece fans. And the fact that I've seen already, we're number 1 in Netflix right now? Really? People are just going to see that and just watch the first episode.
In 84 countries.
84 countries.
Number 1,
Can you imagine? The best thing right now is to be a One Piece YouTuber. Like, literally on YouTube, the best thing to be right now is a One Piece YouTuber. So we're all eating. We're all having a good time.
Oh, yeah.
So it's been great, man. I mean, that's just, first impressions, really. What about you?
Yeah. I watched it with my fiance. And what was really fascinating is I did a video on the channel because, I'm a One Piece YouTuber. I talk all about One Piece. I love One Piece, and she does not watch anime or anything like that. She knows bits and pieces, like Luffy and everything like that. And I did a video of sitting down talking with her, trying to explain the series to her, which was, I don't know if it was a success or not, but it was very entertaining. But I gave her, I sat her down to watch the trailer, which is now the biggest video on the channel. Because her reaction was very funny because she doesn't watch any of the anime and stuff. So she had a pretty brutal reaction to a lot of the parts, but she was a very, unfiltered, casual viewer watching it. And so I went and watched the entire series with her. And I think the thing at the very end was like, she said, I didn't hate it. She was like, I was like, that's a success. You watched it. You thought it was all right. Yep. And yeah, I was just so thrilled to see, like when what you mentioned, you're watching it, you're like, wait, the camera's good. This is good. It's just a well-made show. I was like, this is really well made.
And it's well made. The quality is there.
Yeah, it was fantastic. And yeah, like you said, Luffy in the series, I love. I was surprised to see the brutality, like the violence in the show. It's because that was one thing that really threw me in terms of the series when I first found out about it, because I only saw the 4 kids. And then I saw the later articles that said the censorship, and it's like, oh man, like Luffy's covered in blood. This happens. Like, what is this? Why is it so violent and it's so goofy? And to see in the show, Zoro cut people down the way he does, and the violence in it, and the goofiness. Yeah, it was just to see all that translated, and to show it faithfully done. It was amazing.
That's a good point on the violence. That's what shocked me a lot.
Yeah,
because we're so used to One Piece fans, they're censoring a lot of this or just not showing us. So to see Alvida kill someone that quickly, like you clearly could tell, oh, that person just died. Then Zoro cuts somebody in half, and you literally see the body fall. And I'm like, did that? Am I watching Game of Thrones? Like, I was like, wait a minute. Like, so seeing that was crazy. And then Zoro bringing the guy's body in a bag. I'm like, wow, Zoro's really gruesome. Oh my goodness. So like, it added a different element to the show that I liked, which separated the One Piece live action from the One Piece anime and the manga, which makes me tell people, please watch One Piece live action as its own show. Don't think about One Piece when we're thinking about One Piece live action. This is, to me, the way I see it, it's a different universe. It's a different One Piece universe. It's going to follow the same script. There's going to be differences, right? It's like an alternate universe. So once you put your mind into that and then just absorb what the One Piece live action is, you'll find this is actually a very good show. I don't even worry about the source material with this anymore, to be honest with you. As long as they don't stray too far away that compromises one of their characters, if it's good, it's going to be good, right? So that's how I've been viewing it. I hope people are viewing it too. I've heard people complain like about Ben Beckman being fat. And I'm just like, come on, man. Like, who cares? Who cares? Like, it's Ben Beckman. Like, we don't even know anything about the guy. Besides the fact that he holds a freaking pistol and he's Shank's vice captain. And you're like, oh my God, Ben Beckman isn't some handsome guy with black hair. Like, please grow up. Please. You can't have it.
Oh man. Yeah, I found the choices for the cast, quite incredible. And I'm trying to think. I think the big thing that stood out that really like my fiance loved was Buggy. And I'm keen to hear what your thoughts are when you see him, because for one, she was looking up the actors to see what they look like and everything, and she's like, why is the most handsome dude ever playing Buggy? And I'm like, well, maybe because he captures him perfectly, and you watch him and he just is fantastic. So I'm keen to see what your thoughts are with all the other actors, but they've really done well with it, and it makes me very, very happy. And once the series was done, I was like, yeah, I'm keen for a season 2. They really left off me wanting to watch more. And to see it be number 1 in that many countries, the record has been, it beat the record for the number 1 viewed shows for, I think like the holders were season 4 of Stranger Things and Wednesday. So that's crazy, and I'm really curious to see after a few weeks or so later on what the widespread reaction is or viewership is, as well as just being able to chat with people and somebody bring up that they've seen it or something like that, and people know that you do One Piece content, so to see that and see what their thoughts are is going to be really interesting as well.
I would say that I am very surprised that it did actually hit number one.
Mm.
Maybe there's just a ton. There are tons of One Piece fans out there, but for it to be number one on Netflix also proves that there's a tons of new people watching One Piece, which is crazy to me because One Piece is massive already. But One Piece is massive in very specific places, like France. One Piece is huge in France. Like it's unreal how big One Piece is in France, to the point where you have stadiums, soccer stadiums, where people have a giant Luffy in the Paris stadium just hanging around. I'm like, wow, okay. And Germany, you've got soccer players doing One Piece celebrations, and Twitter accounts tweeting about One Piece, right? So it's like Star Wars. I always said One Piece is like the Star Wars. It's like Star Wars. It's like Harry Potter, Lord of the Rings. These massive, these one stories that turn into communities, that turn into lore. Like, people are always going to know what Star Wars is. Like, always. Star Wars the name Star Wars is going to live on. I don't know, man, till the day humanity's done. Right? Like, it's just one of those things I know keep remaking them. One Piece has now always been there, but in the West, I would say specifically the United States, it hasn't gotten as big as it should yet, right? Because if you go to a store, what are you seeing? Excuse me. Probably some Dragon Ball Z merchandise. Pokemon, Yu-Gi-Oh, right? Those are things that have been huge in the United States. So you'll see them at any store, anywhere, right? If you see something One Piece related, you're like, oh, wow, that's great, right? Instead of, oh, it's another Luffy or another Pikachu, So with this being big, it has the potential to turning One Piece into a fully global entity in the United States as well, right? And that's what we kind of want to get to, right? And I think this One Piece live action, now that we have season 1, if season 2 is just as good, like there's better content, there's better parts of the story coming up. So if it's number 1 now, it means it's going to be number 1 in season 2 with Alabasta, Crocodile, and then, God forbid, we get to Marineford. Then it's like, all right, because I'm expecting Game of Thrones, Battle of Bastards level of directing here, right? Based on what we've seen so far. So if we get Marineford live action and it's anywhere near the Battle of, have you watched Game of Thrones?
Yes, I have. Yes.
By Battle of Bastards.
Yeah.
If it gets anywhere near that, it's over. It's over.
I mean, like you said about the amount of people that you're finding out, like that kind of that know about One Piece. I mean, you have like actors and actresses that like you just all of a sudden in an interview like, yeah, I love One Piece. And one of the ones was I believe it's Jamie Lee Curtis. As like in every interview she has is like, yeah, I want to play in One Piece. I want to like these people straight out saying I want to be in One Piece. Like I want to play. You want to
be in One Piece.
Yeah.
But that's the thing. There's so many characters that people would look at, and if they like One Piece, like, yo, I want to play that character. So you get someone like Jamie Lee Curtis, right? And then you start landing some really, really big names, right? Like, imagine, I know this is wild, but imagine Vivi being like Amelia Clark. Do you know what I mean? Like, because we had a Daenerys role. It's very similar roles, Daenerys and Vivi. They play very similar roles as the dominant female heroine, right? And Vivi has that. You get someone like Amelia Clark in there, all of a sudden people are just going to see her. Like that's it. They're just going to see her just in general. So they're going to watch that. And then you have Crocodile. Like, I mean, personally, my dream, if you could make Al Pacino younger, I would want Al Pacino to be Crocodile bad. Oh my God, bro. I would love that.
Yeah.
Or did you watch Peaky Blinders?
I'm watching it right now. I've just finished season 4, and I think there's 6 seasons.
So, Crocodile, Luca Changretta. Do you see it?
Yeah.
I think I feel like that would work. The guy that played Luca Changretta, I think I could see he could be a great Crocodile.
Yeah. Wow, that's amazing. Yeah, because now that they've established how successful it can be, now they're like, all right, we're going to go and up the stakes for season 2. The hype on season 1 has gone, but now it's going to carry in season 2. They need some actors or actresses, people to go and pull it in. And I mean, that's one thing that made my fiance want to watch The Witcher. Is I said, hey, look, The Witcher's coming out. It's based on this. I love the video games, and it's like the actor that's playing it is Henry Cavill. And she's like, oh my God, Henry Cavill.
Henry Cavill, yes.
Yeah, I was like, oh, sweet. Yeah, it's over. She's watching it. And now she's played through all the games and like and everything.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay, fair enough.
I only played Witcher 2, and then she played Witcher 1, Witcher 2, finished Witcher 3 twice on the hardest difficulty. And this is somebody that has only exclusively played The Sims. So to see that,
really,
yeah,
yo, that's funny. That's funny.
It's crazy.
That's actually funny to see.
It's crazy, yeah. And the same thing happened.
That must have been so entertaining.
Yeah,
that must have been so entertaining for you to watch.
Yeah, and it was also the same with The Last of Us, like because Pedro Pascal, yeah, and she loves Pedro Pascal. So play through the games, and she played through part 1 and like couldn't like shoot like with a sniper or anything because it's hard to shoot in that game as well. And then by part 2, she's like drag scoping people, like shooting them. It was the most
drag scoping.
That's how she does. She drag scopes. in The Last of Us. It's insane. I was having a great time. It was like the best playthrough ever. But yeah, it just goes to show the power of these actors and actresses that can bring these casual viewers in. And like you said, if we get somebody like that, like a Peaky Blinders mobster kind of person for Crocodile, like come on, like I'm sold. Oh my god.
My dream. Would it work? I'm thinking of Cillian Murphy playing Doflamingo.
Oh, if they get Cillian Murphy, hey, look, like I said,
there's no way they can get. Yeah, that's like getting Michael Jordan.
No, I mean, look. There's been a trend of actors that my fiance is obsessed with getting her into shows. If she can get through season 1 of One Piece and go through the end, if they get someone like Cillian Murphy in because she's having a big moment with him for Peaky Blinders, done. She might actually love the show. Like she might actually go, this show's the bomb. Like great. So I'm banking on it.
I love Cillian Murphy.
Oh.
I love Cillian Murphy and Oppenheimer. I mean, he's always been. I've always rated him very highly, but with Oppenheimer, like, oh my goodness, he went straight to top 2 actors all time to me. Like for me, because I'm a huge Denzel guy. I love Denzel. Okay. He's my number 1. Period. But like Cillian Murphy hit my top 3, top 2 immediately after that because that Oppenheimer performance. If he doesn't win an Oscar, I'll be upset. I'll be so upset.
Yeah,
so upset. That was incredible acting.
It was amazing. I watched Oppenheimer first, and then now I'm watching through Peaky Blinders because I'm like, I want more of Cillian Murphy because he was great. And
so you did it the other way because I knew he could do it. I've seen him because you see his Tommy Shelby is like it's Tony Soprano level iconic. Tommy Shelby, the character, the acting, like it's rare that you see a performance like that. Like James Gandolfini with Tony Soprano. When you see how he talks normally, and then you see the Tony Soprano character, you're just like, this is just everything he does is incredible.
Yeah,
every single thing he does is incredible. And Cillian Murphy literally has that same trait where you don't realize, but he's acting in the smallest way possible that you won't notice unless you really pay attention to him, and it's unreal. I can't believe it.
Just like you mentioned, and then you see him talk in like interviews, and he's just like the most, I don't know, like innocent guy, just kind of, I think he's like not tapped into any sort of internet related things. Like someone said, hey, there's a meme of you on here. He's like, well, now I know what a meme is, so thank you. That was like in 2023, like this year or last year. Like man is in a completely different plane of existence. And then he goes to play Tommy Shelby, and he's like, he's that guy. Like he's just so like, it's so funny. We watched the scenes where Tommy Shelby like starts chatting up girls and says, so it's like smooth talking them. And then there was one time, I think it was the very first one that he did. And my fiance looks over to me and goes, this guy's the fucking Rizzler. This guy's the Rizzler because the Rizz levels were off the charts with this man. Like insane. But yeah, I'm loving that show.
I wish I had the last time he did. It's the confidence.
Oh yeah,
to pull it off. He could pull it off in real life, and it'd work every time.
Yeah,
like every time it would work. Like he's like, I don't know, man. Makes me wish. Like, what does it take, right? So like, because we can tie this back into the live action, but like, think about what it takes to turn yourself into somebody else, like legitimately for basically a year or two, depending on how long it takes to shoot. They'll probably take, I don't know how long these shoots take, maybe like 6 months to a year, right?
Yeah.
And you have to turn yourself into that person. So like, it's no surprise he doesn't have social media. It's no surprise that he probably lives in the acting world. He's literally acting all the time. So then when you look at One Piece and you go into the live action, you're thinking about Inaki and how he basically had to embody Luffy. He had to learn him, his mannerisms, Same thing with Taz and Emily. So when you see them and you see them own the characters and the personality based off a manga, a comic book, an anime, it's not easy to do. That's really not easy to do. And it's a testament to them, but it's also a testament to the writer to put them, to give them a platform to not just stick to anime, but also express the character. So like, it's just been one big team effort that's produced a very brilliant series, which is, as a One Piece fan, like I was like, wow, I feel like I have been taken care of.
Yeah.
Like, you took care of us.
That's right.
All of them suffered, but you didn't let us down. Like that.
No.
That's the highest praise we can pay those guys, and you could tell how much they love it. So I'm certain us loving their work, it's just one giant love fest. This is one big One Piece love affair right now.
Oh yeah.
It's incredible.
It's been amazing to see over the past like months and years, having people, you know, like Matt Owens go onto live streams and people say, hey, you know, we're concerned. How's this going to be? How's this going to be? And he's like, look, like, trust us. Like we know, we love this. We love this series. We know how much it means to you guys. It means so much to us. And just to have all those words of encouragement and to see exactly what they've been sitting on. Because now seeing this, I'm like, I understand now where they're just like so calm and casual, being like, look, we're good. We got it. Do you think that moving forward, this is going to change the way people approach live action adaptations of anime? Or do you think this could be just a really special case where the appreciation and love for the series just is so immense that it allowed the series to be as good as it is?
Can you repeat that last part, please?
Yeah, that's okay. Do you think that the live action One Piece that we got is going to allow the future live action adaptations of anime be improved or be better to this level? Or do you think One Piece is just such a special case where the community and the fan base and the creators and everybody is like you said, the love affair is so intense that it was allowed to become as good as it is, and it's just going to be this one that has it at this level?
I would say yes, but I think One Piece is also unique in a case where the main theme of it is centered around something that's been done before, and that's piracy and being a pirate. So we already have Pirates of the Caribbean. So we're very comfortable with Pirates of the Caribbean. As far as I'm concerned, it's been just a unique version of Pirates of the Caribbean. That's how it's felt the whole time, right? Yeah. So One Piece always had a blueprint to follow. As long as you know what worked, add it to the story, and then put your own spin on it, you can produce brilliance. With all these other series, like Full Metal Alchemist, not really much to go off of. Death Note. I mean, you have horror films that you could probably go off of for the most part, but they did poorly. I think it's a case now that they're going to have to follow the format of getting a writer that really knows the series and is a real fan. Yeah. Because if there's one thing I've learned about Matt, is that this guy is a real fan. Yeah. And it's not just a regular fan. He's like he could easily be a YouTuber just like us, right? In terms of what he knows about the story, his own takes. So we're giving them the blueprint. Like, they can follow our blueprint now and be like, all right, so this is how a successful live action works. This is what the One Piece live action did. So it could help overall, but I also think One Piece had a helping hand. And someone else in the chat put Black Sails. Black Sail, Game of Thrones, Pirates of the Caribbean. There's lots of elements that the One Piece live action can take that made them such a success to begin with in the first place. So the people, it's not even an anime, it's just a show. It's just literally just a new show to them. That's right. Yeah. Do you think it would be possible that anybody that goes onto Netflix and watches this doesn't have any sort of prior knowledge of it being an anime or a manga, like just by showing how this is? I think most people know it's an anime for the most part. Yeah. They'll probably have it in the description too, maybe. Yeah, most likely. So yeah. Yeah. But overall, no, it's I think it'll just be I still think it'll be the best one. I don't think there'll ever be a better live action, actually. Yeah, I mean but I think there'll be ones that'll come close to it. Yeah, I mean, when I thought about live action adaptations, the one that I thought that would be really good. I mean, look, I thought Cowboy Bebop would be a surefire winner just because it's like, oh, it's like Guardians of the Galaxy, just go around just. But yeah, another one for me is I believe they're working on Monster. So that'll be good. Yeah, and I'm like, look, that's not anything like One Piece
is the craziest one. Like, that is the craziest series to do because of, as a manga itself, an anime, it is like the most out there in terms of design, characters, everything. So the fact that they did this and actually made it work is amazing. My thought was that if they were going to adapt Monster, then surely they could make it work, because you don't even have to make it any sort of, like, it could just like a regular show, like with these characters.
Monster
and,
would just be a regular mystery thriller, psychological drama, right? The psychological thriller and mystery. That's exactly what Monster's going to be. But the story itself is so captivating. Now, all you just literally do 1-to-1 live action. It's over. Like, it's going to be brilliant, and I'm going to watch every minute of it.
Yeah. So that was my biggest hope, that they were going to be able to do something right. But this series beat it to it, and yeah, it's been an incredible thing to witness, just because we know we have so much weight behind it and stakes. To see it be pulled off like this is really cool. It was really a really cool watch. But I will say, Sanji for me is a standout in the series. I really do like him. He's a standout. I really like him. I think he really.
I'm very excited. Yeah,
I do. I love, like you said, that confidence, that charisma. I love that he brings it out in Sanji. I think it's really cool. I think it's really nice. It was really stand out for me. Yeah.
I'm excited.
Yeah. Do you have any thoughts, any questions before maybe we touch upon the latest chapter and then we can wrap things up?
None really. I'm just excited to finish it. Really, I haven't seen anything. I make sure I haven't spoiled anything. I haven't seen any previews. I've been kind of staying off YouTube just to go back in, because I had such a good time watching it the first time. The only thing I'm worried about is I want to watch, after I watch the first episode, I wanted to watch so much more. So I need to pace myself. I have to, because if I try to do it all at once with all that editing, oh my God, it's going to be a mess. But I'm excited and I'm happy, man. I think One Piece right now is I don't think it's bigger. It's as big as it's ever been. I don't think One Piece has ever been bigger. So it's just great to be a One Piece fan right now, and I'm a One Piece YouTuber.
For sure. And it has honestly been great. And to see the communities like come together and being able to, like I mentioned this with a lot of people, but years ago when I first did YouTube, you had people on the lower scale and people on the higher scale, and it was hard to bridge that gap. But after the Reverie and like chatting with you and so many other people, it's just like the boundaries between us and just like the community is so much more tightly knit, and it's just really cool to hop on here. And like anybody in the chat, like if you want to hop on and like chat about One Piece, like feel free, because you have people on here that are going to want to chat with you, listen, have fun. And yeah, now we have the live action, the anime and the manga all coming together. Yeah, it is honestly the best time. And one thing that you mentioned that I've kind of pondered on is that you said that you're essentially like you're a love for a little bit in terms of the series, or the way you consumed it kind of died down when it came to Wano. With all the events that have happened in Egghead and moving forward, has your kind of excitement or your feelings changed since going through Wano?
Not really. I'm actually just enjoying it.
Yeah.
I'm really just enjoying the ride, for the most part. Like, I am thinking about the future now, and I feel like the future is still in good hands for sure. But we're still we've got answers, but it still feels like we're waiting.
Yeah.
And that's why I'm just like biding my time, because the last time I waited and was disappointed. And I think maybe I've just developed some trauma out of that. So I wait to be happy in the moment.
Yeah.
And I'm just going to enjoy I'm finding pieces of a chapter that I can enjoy. So for the most part, like, I would read a chapter and it'd be like, oh, this was kind of lackluster and I wasn't moved here. Now for me, the way I read it, I'm trying to find something to cling on to and enjoy in any chapter. Like, for example, with Kizaru.
Yeah.
Kizaru made a statement about being a corporate slave, like corporate cog. And just with that alone, we've created a whole persona now. He's called Big Business Kizaru. Like, he doesn't care about anything but a paycheck, his pension, that's it. Like, I'm not worried about justice. I'm worried about the paycheck. And that's really, it's funny because that's really what he does. Like, he doesn't care. He's just here to do his job and go home. And not only can you delve into that in a very analytical way and you study his character, but you can also laugh at it. You know, you can put a spin on it and just enjoy it. And that's how I've been reading One Piece is I've generally just been enjoying One Piece and laughing and taking my own spin on it. It's like creating your own little. It's like doing a voiceover
Yeah.
over a manga. When you're reading it, it's like, all right, I see the source material, but let me create something funny out of it. And that's how I've been absorbing One Piece up to this point. So it's harder for me to really just think ahead when my mindset with One Piece is just to have as much fun with the story as I can. Because I'm here. I'm not dropping it. I'm never gonna drop One Piece. I'm never gonna stop reading it. So like have fun with it. And I found my way to have fun with it. And I haven't had a more fun time reading One Piece. I may not read it as often, but when I read it, I have a blast every chapter.
Yeah, that's really cool. And I mean, I'm very similar in the way that, I don't really want to buckle my head down and kind of think ahead and plan ahead and theorize and everything. Because like you said, there is room for disappointment, and all you really want to do is just jump on, have fun in the moment reading it without any sort of lingering expectation or anything in your head about how things can go, how characters should be, and just kind of enjoy it. And like you said, it's a, that stems a lot from, you said, probably the trauma from what happened with Kid. We're like, oh man, this guy, he's a notorious pirate. He's pretty fearsome. He's got this magnetism powers. And then just to see everything unfold, you're just like, well, kind of, okay. Kind of killed you for a little bit, like your enjoyment. But
and the crazy part is, it's like not even just that. It's like Kaido and the flashback, right, and all that stuff that went on, and it's just like, oh boy, like that was a pretty big. I think most of the community agrees Kaido was underwhelming at the end. He was great all the way to the backstory, and it's like, okay, so for all Kaido's good fighting prowess and capability, because the Kaido fight was great as a fighting force, he is an impressive person. Like, he's an impressive fighter, very impressive. As an antagonist, very impressive. As a character, you were left with something that's like, you can't give me like 9 out of 10, and then 3 out of 10. It sullies the character. So instead of Kaido being a 9 out of 10 character that we wanted, he's probably a 6 or a 7. And that is underwhelming considering how well you built Kaido up, brick by brick, little by little. You built him up to be someone that should have been with Dofi, that should have been with Crocodile, that should have been with Arlong. And we're only going to look at Kaido as, what a great fighter.
Yeah.
That's a disservice. To me, that's a disservice to Kaido. So as far as I'm concerned, I don't want to get too invested again in another villain unless I know a backstory is coming, because I was dead certain. I'm like, yo, we're going to get a great backstory for Kaido. And we got that. I'm like, Jesus is Lord. Blackbeard, if he doesn't, there's no way Blackbeard's not getting a good backstory. To me, I don't think Oda wouldn't dare. I just don't think Blackbeard he has the setup to have one of the most unique and interesting backstories we have in the entire series. Like the Big Mom backstory, that was brilliant. Her backstory was awesome. And then we're looking at we just got a backstory for somebody. It was really good. Who was it? Oh, we didn't get it yet. But Kuma. Yeah. Right? These are the things I'm talking to you about when I get trauma, because we saw the beginning of the backstory. We saw when Bonnie reacted. I'm sitting there like, it's time. We're getting Robin, Brooke level, Law level of sad backstory. Like, I better get my tissues, because I feel like this one's going to hurt bad. And then he just skips and disappears. I'm like, Oda, you can't do that. You cannot do that. You can't. Because it's like, it started off so sad. Like, you already see the bruises all over his body. He's trying to run away because he doesn't want to be a slave anymore. And he's captured by other slaves and beat again. And he's like, I don't want to go back. And they drag him back. And to me, my soul fell apart. And there was only 2 panels. I only saw 2 panels and I was already hurt. 2 panels. I was traumatized.
I saw someone in the chat to say SBS Zoro.
Oh goodness.
Yeah, where they just dropped his entire lineage. Like years and years of build up and hiding away from explaining what his lineage is and everything, and they just dropped it in SBS like, oh, here it is. It's like, okay. Yeah.
It wasn't, I wasn't too bothered because I enjoyed the King of Hell backstory that he got. I like that quite a bit because you take him back to the Sword Village. you're seeing Zoro before the whole Koina stuff, so it's like I liked his character more after seeing that backstory, and I don't think we need anything else from Zoro. As far as I'm concerned, I think we would have been better off without that information. I think we would have been better off. The mystery was good.
Yeah.
He looks like Ryuma. Maybe he is.
Yeah.
Who knows? But now we got Pin Zoro and something else. I'm like, all right, man. Like, okay, it is what it is.
That was it. Like there wasn't any sort of benefit or like it didn't add anything to see his whole lineage laid out. So it kind of, yeah, like if it wasn't shown, then yeah, it would have been left with this mystery, and it would have been better. So yeah, I agree with that. And I was just absolutely baffled how he did such a good job, like you mentioned, with all these other villains with the backstories. And then when it came to Kaido, I was like, oh, yep, wow, this is going to be amazing. And yeah, I just can't believe that was what it boiled down to. And I mean, I'm holding on to some level of hope that maybe there's going to be there's going to be some more to do with Kaido in terms of a backstory later on with God Valley or something, like in like hopefully. And now we're getting told that like we have characters from God Valley still here and active, like with God's Knights. It gets me more hopeful that we're going to see more with that. But yeah, I was quite disappointed, like you mentioned, and it's sad because that's all really what you can think about when you think about Kaido. You go, oh yeah, like great fighter, but also his backstory was shit. Like, it wasn't great. So like, yeah, it's really disappointing in that way.
It was, but what can you do? Sometimes you just got to take the lumps. Like, Oda's allowed to make a mistake here and there. So yeah, and if some people don't think it's a mistake, some people love it. So I'm like, okay. Just go. I just had to go. I had to learn how to go. I don't know.
Yeah, absolutely. Do you have any sort of thoughts you'd like to touch upon in terms of like Luffy versus Kizaru, and then potentially what we could see after this? Or are you, again, like you mentioned, just kind of living in the moment, just kind of seeing how things go, having fun with it?
I'm actually, people wouldn't like this, but I'm actually hoping Kizaru and Luffy kind of fight to a standstill, and we see how strong Kizaru really is. Okay. I don't want Luffy to just beat Kizaru. I don't. I think we still need the admirals to be a threat. Yeah. And I would like them to still be a threat. Because we've only dealt with Yonkos, but we've never really seen an admiral go all out. The only time we saw an admiral go all out was against Whitebeard. And Whitebeard was supposed to be the strongest. Yeah. So like, and even then, Akainu did major damage. Like, major damage. So even then, we saw how strong Akainu was. And it's been 2 years later. I'd like to assume they're stronger. Mm-hmm. So with Kizaru's Devil Fruit being light, that's chaotic. That's chaotic as is. So Luffy versus someone that's actually made of light, I don't think he's faced a speedster yet. Has he?
I don't think so. Not, I mean, obviously not to the level of Kizaru, but I don't know.
Not to the level of Kizaru. No so way. Future Sight's going to be, he's going to need all of Future Sight to keep up with Kizaru. Like, he's going to need it. Yeah. So maybe it's a case that he can fight Kizaru, but Kizaru is a very taxing fight on his observation haki just to keep up with him. Like, but then again, he did it with Katakuri, so maybe there's that. I don't know. I would just want Kizaru to put up a fight, and I don't want him to be defeated. I want it to be a standstill, and someone interrupts. Maybe Blackbeard interrupts or something. I don't know, but I want an interruption of that fight to maintain the integrity of the admirals, because if Luffy goes Gear 5, him beating Kaido, it's like Gear 5, he can kind of do anything. Yeah. Then Luffy not beating Kizaru would be weird, right? Like, it's like, all right, well, have the admirals just been stronger than everybody the whole time, and have they been able to kill Kaido the whole time? Like, you know what I mean? So it's a delicate balance.
That's right. You made a really good point saying that, surely these guys, like the admirals, would be stronger as well. And you have Luffy have the line saying, I'm 100 times stronger than I was back then. Then it's like, well, what about then Kizaru? Surely he's going to improve his own, strength. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see what they do. But the big thing that I'm taking away from this is that you have Law and Kid that were defeated by emperors, and now you have going on to Luffy, who's facing now an admiral and has a Gorosei member outside the area. I'm anticipating, like you said, a standstill would make sense. but also I'm anticipating maybe if something were to happen to Luffy, just because like we need to, like you mentioned, show that these guys are a threat. We're getting into the later stages of the story. We're getting into the final stretch. We have Luffy pulling out the most unbelievable feats against Kaido to defeat him. And we don't want to feel that he's invincible. He can do anything and there's no stakes. So if something does happen, I would want it to happen, just because it adds, like tension. It's a shock factor. Like if Luffy in Gear 5 or some way gets smacked down, defeated, or some way mortally wounded, it's like, oh my god, this is crazy. That's high stakes. And it shows them as a threat. So that's what I'm anticipating. But I do like the idea you said of someone interrupting to maintain the integrity and the strength of the admirals, because I think it's really important. Yeah, for sure. Is there any final things you want to go and say before we wrap things up here? But again, I just want to say again, I really do appreciate you being here. It means a lot. Like you mentioned, your busy schedule. I really do appreciate it, and it's been a great time chatting with you.
Of course, man. Thanks for having me on. I appreciate it. As for any final thoughts, I'm mainly just excited for live action, the next chapter of One Piece. Oda, we need Kuma's backstory. I told my audience, Oda has 5 chapters to reveal the backstory. Otherwise, a strongly worded email will be written.
Okay.
So,
yep. All right.
We need that. That's something I need more than anything. Also, very excited about Baratier in the live action, because Shellstown is like, all right, we're trying to get past Captain Morgan and Helmeppo, because while they're cool, we don't really care about them. But Sanji, Zeph, Arlong, these really, really popular characters, Buggy, really, really want to see that. Really want to see that and see how it's done, because I heard Arlong was great. I heard Buggy was fantastic. I heard great things about Buggy. Great things. And at the very end of the first episode, you see him and you're like, yeah, this guy's embodying it.
Yeah.
Like he's embodying it. He's like embodying Buggy and his own spin on it. Gave me weird Joker vibes too, which I'm a huge Joker guy. Heath Ledger's Joker, Joaquin Phoenix Joker. Like I love both of those movies a lot. So just a lot of anticipation going forward. And to see where we go from here, like where we go as a community. Like how big is our community gonna be? Is like Netflix gonna really start involving themselves with the YouTubing community? Because I think they might. And if that happens, like imagine, we start talking to the actors that play these characters, right? Like, because we've met Matt before. Like most of us have, when we go out to like a convention, like we met Matt. We met Emily at the Comic-Con convention at the One Piece premiere. So like anything One Piece related, it seems like you're going to have a YouTube community that's connected to the real entertainment community, which is to me, this is so unique. This is such a unique time for us, right? Mainly just because the one who's responsible for the show is so tapped into this community and has learned a lot from this community. He's made very good friends from this community. It feels like our community is going to evolve. So I'm just watching and seeing what's going to happen from this, because if we get renewed for a season 2, it gets bigger. You start having premieres, like you start seeing commercials on television. Do you know what I mean? Like, at this point, like if people love One Piece this much in real life, and then I tell people I'm a One Piece YouTuber, they're like, I love One Piece. The live action though, not the manga. I'm like, oh, I can still talk to them about One Piece, and then I'd be able to fill in the gaps for them where they don't have to watch the anime, but I'll tell you know what I mean? So like you're building you're evolving the community. So my hope is this succeeds consistently, season 2 succeeds, and then we're seeing a brand new community and One Piece and the life of One Piece kind of being extended, right? Like, because One Piece is gonna end maybe next 5 years, maybe, hopefully. It's been going on for a while now. We're definitely at the end game now for sure. So like next 3 to 5 years, One Piece is gonna end. But with the live action, you could do whatever. Like it could last for a while. This community doesn't seem to be going anywhere.
Yeah, absolutely. And I am very fascinated to see what the widespread appeal is. Like you said, there's a season 2 announcement. Just to see the event, like the Santa Monica event, where Oda himself was there, is insane. and just to see how much has been made for it. Yeah, if we do get a season 2 and there's premieres everywhere and there's much more involvement in the YouTube community, you know, to potentially see, like you said, actors actually take part in what we do here. And who knows, there could be a day where we have a reverie with like one of the actors or something a part of it, the chat. Like that'd be amazing.
That would be so fun.
That would be awesome. And we would have nothing but love to share, just because we're all fans here. We're all tight knit community here. And we're all thankful and grateful for all the love that's been thrown our way with this series. So it's a really great time. It honestly is.
Yes, absolutely.
Absolutely. All right. So with that being said, is there any places you'd like people to go and check you out? Any platforms in particular?
Yeah, you can reach me on YouTube, Twitch, Twitter, or I guess it's X now. Christ.
Yep.
Just JD Legend. Type JD Legend anywhere, you're probably gonna find me. I've kind of trademarked that name at this point. So if I'm on any platform, type in JD Legend and you'll see my content. So yeah, nice. That's where you can find me.
No problem. And I'll be staying tuned for you know, many of your shorts that come out showing your reactions to whether it be the anime episode or the live action. I'll be keen to go and see your thoughts on it, because it's a really good time.
I appreciate that, man. Thanks for having me on, man.
No problem. No problem. And thanks to everybody being in here for your likes, your comments, your interactions. If any of you guys hop on, and I have a playlist of videos on there that you can check out, from like the Hype Awards to some other things on there. It really mean a lot. I really do appreciate it. So with that being said, I want to say thank you. Appreciate you all. Take care, and I'll see you all on the next one.
Absolutely. Take care.